I was pretty jazzed earlier in the day to film a video to talk with you. Um, and then the day started to progress and now it is night. And one thing that I am definitely not is a night owl. However, I am an early bird. I wake up early in the morning naturally. I pop out of bed. I am ready to race to that coffee pot and pour my first cup of coffee. I love mornings. That is my jam. Some other things I know about me are that I am amazing at side quests. I'm amazing at being distracted or pulled away from whatever task I'm actively trying to do, whether that be by outside forces like kids or my husband asking me questions or scheduling things that need to happen, or it's my own inability to focus well. So that's fun to be a side quest adventurer. If you're new here, I am Lindsey. I follow a low carb keto friendly lifestyle, and I like to share that with you so that you don't feel so like out there in this process. I've been following a keto lifestyle for 9 years at this point and have no intentions of stopping anytime soon. Another thing I know about me, I don't like to meal plan. In fact, I would argue that I loathe meal planning. I have tremendous disdain for the practice. However, this year I have one goal, one solitary goal, and it's kind of subjective rather than objective, which makes it a challenge. Um, and maybe that's not how you're supposed to set goals. We're going to do it anyway. My main goal this year is to create a life that flows smoothly so that I can reduce my stress, so that I can really lean into my relationships and nurture those well, and then also be able to be flexible, as my husband's job is a pretty flexible thing for us. So I want to be able to um, go wherever the adventure takes us without feeling like my life is falling apart. And meal planning is the thing that I'm going to have to overcome first. I have tried this in the past. I have tried to plan out meals or at least create a little list of, like 4 or 5 meals that I could use throughout the week. We are a leftovers family, so that helps. I've tried to create, like a plan, a loose plan. That has yet to work for me long term. It's not sustainable. I feel like I make the plan, we live out the plan, but then I fail to go back and repeat the process. My past processes have failed me tremendously. Therefore, I am going to tackle this piece of the puzzle very intentionally this year. I am going to be using the 12-week year. I left my book over there. Aha, the 12-week year. This scrawny little book puts together a way of looking at life where you can focus on a couple of goals. I will be focusing on one goal for a 12-week span. And the premise is that you can accomplish in 12 weeks what many others would hope to accomplish in 12 months. Now, that's a very rudimentary explanation of that, but I'm going to toss that back there. And I'm going to be utilizing the tool of the 12-week plan or the 12-week year to help me with this particular goal. I learned about this from a lady named Jen here on YouTube. Her channel is called Time and Tide Plans. I've been watching her for a couple of years. From her, I learned about a home management system that relied on index cards. She learned about it from the Sidetracked Home Executives book and then created her own, thing to use. And so I learned about it from her. I did read that book. And then I decided that sounds like a perfect way to manage my brain. So that for the past year and a half or so, I have been using a card system to be able to manage my home tasks at large. It's a really useful tool. If you would like to learn more about that, I'm going to leave Jen's channel linked in the pinned comment in the comment section. Go check her out. She's got a lot of really cool tools and resources and a great way of explaining how this whole process works. And she's also the one who first mentioned the 12-week year 12-week year to me via a video that she put out for the public. All of that to say, I will be using the 12-week year with the card system in order to achieve this particular goal of mine. And I think that meal planning and becoming consistent at that will simplify one of the more stressful pieces of my home management puzzle here. So what I have done is cut up a bunch of printer paper in a 3x5 shape, and I've written on it individual tasks. I really urge you to go watch Jen's video on how to take a goal and break it down into a 12-week year. And the book really helps a ton, but you can get a pretty solid perspective on what that looks like if you just like watch her videos. She's been doing this for quite some time, and it gets a lot more intuitive the more that you kind of learn about the system. So in order to become better at meal planning, I wrote down a whole bunch of different ideas or little tasks. In the past, I would tackle this by trying to write out a master recipe list from the jump, organize it, categorize it, overhaul the pantry, make sure that I had sabotage suppers, which to me, a sabotage supper is when your schedule gets shifted based on unforeseen circumstances, or, something goes awry and you can't make the thing you originally thought you were going to make, or you don't know what to make. You can pull out one of those little sabotage supper recipes or ideas and hopefully get dinner on the table in half an hour. There are a bunch of different things that I wanted to do. Create freezer meals, make a plan to use the freezer meals, prep for the week, make sure that you meal plan and meal prep, and then grocery shop and do all of the things. Now, some of these tasks are pretty intuitive for me because I've, been doing this for a while, but I want to improve it and I want to be more consistent with it. And I actually want to create a plan. My current plan is just defrost a bunch of meat, and 45 minutes before it's time to eat, just pull it out and make the same old, same old. I can't tell you how many times I make sloppy joes or tacos or, just baked chicken. It's simple. It really is. But it's also stressful in the moment, because that means that for several hours throughout the day, my kids are asking me, "What's for dinner, Mom?" And I say, "I don't know." I'm trying to eliminate that pinch point, that stressor in my life. And here we go. Okay, so I've got a whole bunch of tasks that I've already written down, and I'm sure that I will write down even more as time progresses. But it's like I'm going to make one day I'm going to brainstorm 5 to 10 meals that we have regularly, and then maybe one of them I will. Let's find one that makes sense. Pull out frozen meat to thaw for that week or for the next few days. I already kind of do that naturally, but I want to do that in context of make a meal plan. I want to take inventory of all the food in the house and stay up to date on an inventory. I want to have 2 to 3 options for breakfast available throughout the week that are friendly to my low carb keto lifestyle, or some that are good for my girls. Have the master list of recipes, organize my pantry for maximum, flow and ease of use, create little meal kits, the sabotage suppers, create that, and drop all my cards. That's also what I'm going to do. I do want to write out some of my recipes on my pieces of paper to make it as tangible as possible, and try to avoid having to use my phone often or pull things up on my computer or any of those deals. I want to, explore theme nights. I've tried it in the past, but I've never been consistent at it. So I kind of want to try that out. Okay, so I've got a bunch of these tasks. Some of them are more project type tasks, and others are recurring tasks like grocery shop, meal, like actually write down the handful of meals that you intend to have for the week after you have thought through what are the activities like for the next 5 days or whatever. So then after now that I have all my cards, I also have my dividers here. And these dividers, I don't know if it's going to focus at all. Probably not. I have one that actually is called week 1. Where did it go? It moved. It did not move. I must have moved it. Oh, I found it. So I've got a tab divider, and in front of that, Jen explains how to do this beautifully. So like I said, I strongly recommend you go check her videos out. So behind or in front of this first week tab, I'm going to put in there, make the meal plan, get the groceries, brainstorm. Like I'm only going to choose 3 or 4 tasks for the week to accomplish. And so like the basic grocery list, grocery shopping thing, the meal plan, and then maybe the other one that I'll do is write down the 5 to 10 meals that we have regularly that are family favorites. So So that'll be what I do for week 1. And one of the tasks I had was to create those sabotage suppers. So I might put that behind week 2. Like maybe I feel like I can tackle that in my second week because I won't be focusing on all of the tasks. This seems very complicated. It seems very overwhelming and it seems very unnecessary. Some people are amazing at using a notebook or a spiral or one of the thousands of planners that are out there that are probably more compact. I have found the card system, as explained by Jen, has been so good for me. So I'm going to use that to improve this area of my life where I have so much stress. Okay, I feel like I've over talked it to death at this point, but also talked about it in circles to the point where it's very confusing. I'm going to go put some of these things together and start working on not knocking over my box of cards. That's definitely what I'm not going to do. But I'm going to go work on that and just try to create a flow in our life that makes it less stressful. And we hear all the time about how stress is a major problem. I'm trying to eliminate some of that in my life, and I hope that you will be along for the journey. But I make no promises as to what I share or how I share it. Oh my gosh, I am just like a mess. Be blessed.